The Walashma dynasty was a medieval Muslim dynasty of the Horn of Africa. It governed the Ifat and Adal Sultanates in what are present-day northern Somalia, Djibouti and eastern Ethiopia. Genealogical traditions. The Walashma princes of Ifat and Adal all possessed Arab genealogical traditions. According to both Makrezi and the Chronicle of the Walashma, Umar Walashma, the founder of the dynasty, was of Quraysh Hashemite origin. In terms of lineage, Walashma traditions trace descent from Aqil ibn Abi Talib, the brother of the Caliph Ali and Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. The latter was among the earliest Muslims to settle in the Horn region. However, the semi-legendary apologetic history of the Walashma asserts that Umar ibn Dunyahus had as a progenitor Caliph Ali's son al-Hassan, with this genealogy being owed to the supposed ancestor Yusuf bin Ahmad al-Qarnayn, a famous Somali saintly figure. Language. The 19th-century Ethiopian historian Asmaji Yorgis suggests that the Walashma themselves spoke Arabic. He additionally describes the family as among the first Muslims to enter Abyssinia, which he writes was originally inhabited by the Saba, Balor, Kanor and Noba, Sultanate of Ifat. According to Makrezi, the forefathers of Umar Walashma first settled in the Zila-controlled Djibouti region. For that they slowly expanded into the hinterland. Despite being described as its successor to the Sultanate of Shoa, the Sultanate of Ifat and Shoa state were founded around the same time. Umar Dunyahus founded Ifat at Zila in 1185, one of 8 sultanates that were established in the Horn of Africa during this period. The other sultanates were the aforementioned Shoa along with the sultanates of Abni, Dawaro, Hadiya, Shaka, Baal and Dara. The original borders of the Sultanate of Ifat roughly correspond with the present-day Adal region in northwestern Somalia. In 1278, the Walashma conquered the Sultanate of Shoa. The dynasty later annexed the Sultanate into Ifat in 1280, making Ifat the largest and most powerful of its peers. This annexation is usually attributed to Umar, but he had been dead for 50 years by the time Shoa was annexed. More likely, it was his grandson Jamal ad-Din, or perhaps even his great-grandson Abud. In 1332, the Zila-based king of Adal was slain in a military campaign against the Abyssinian emperor Amdacian's invading troops. Amdacian then appointed Jamal ad-Din as the new king, followed by Jamal ad-Din's brother Nasser ad-Din. Despite this setback, the Muslim rulers of Ifat continued the campaign. The Abyssinian emperor branded the Muslims of the surrounding area enemies of the Lord, and again invaded Ifat in the early 15th century. After much struggle, Ifat's troops were defeated and the Sultanate's ruler, King Saad ad-Din II, fled to Zila. He was pursued by Abyssinian forces, where they slayed him. Sultans of Ifat. Sultanate of Adal. Islam was introduced to the Horn of Africa early on from the Arabian Peninsula, shortly after the Hijra. In the late 9th century, al-Yaqubi wrote that Muslims were living along the northern Somali seaboard. He also mentioned that the Adal kingdom had its capital in the city, suggesting that the Adal Sultanate with Zila as its headquarters dates back to at least the 9th or 10th century. According to I.M. Lewis, the polity was governed by local dynasties consisting of Somalized Arabs or Arabized Somalis, who also ruled over the similarly established Sultanate of Mogadishu in the Benadir region to the south. Adal's history from this founding period forth would be characterized by a succession of battles with neighboring Abyssinia. After the last Sultan of Ifat, Saad ad-Din II, was killed in Zila in 1410, his children escaped to Yemen, before later returning in 1415. In the early 15th century, Adal's capital was moved further inland to the town of Dhaka, where Sabyar ad-Din II, the eldest son of Saad ad-Din II, established a new base after his return from Yemen. Adal's headquarters were again relocated the following century, this time to Hera. For this new capital, Adal organized an effective army led by Imam Ahmad ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi that invaded the Abyssinian Empire. This 16th-century campaign is historically known as the Conquest of Abyssinia. During the war, Imam Ahmad pioneered the use of cannons supplied by the Ottoman Empire, which he imported through Zila and deployed against Abyssinian forces and the Portuguese allies led by Cristóvão da Gama. Some scholars argue that this conflict proved, through the use on both sides, the value of firearms like the matchlock musket, cannons and the arquebus over traditional weapons. Sultans of Adal Sultanate of Hera. In 1559, the Ethiopian general Hammilmul captured Hera and killed Sultan Barakit. The Walashma dynasty did not go extinct, but Emir Enwar ibn Mujahid was chosen to succeed him. Enwar ibn Mujahid subsequently founded a new dynasty and sultanate in the same year, the Sultanate of Hera.